Right, hello there. I was just recording another video and then I get a notification and I see that there's brand new designer notes out, which I was not expecting today. But as always, let's read through all these. I'll give my opinion, give you guys all the scoop on the news as usual, and yeah, let's get into this. We'll just quickly brush over these graphs. What is this? PC, Ashe, very high up, Ace, Buck, Dokkaebi, Finka, online with Thatcher. Looks pretty same on console for attack. Same sort of top operators. Ashe just going crazy with the ACOG buff. I don't think Ashe needs a nerf though. I think Ashe is actually very balanced. Let's quickly skip over to defense. Lesion, Doc, Fenrir, top on PC. I think that's understandable. I play those three operators. My top on console. That's actually surprised me a little bit. Fenrir in fourth, Doc and Melusi. Mute. That is quite interesting. Did not expect Wamai to be the most played defender on console. If any console players can give me a reason why, let me know. But I'm just going to skim through these. There's other YouTubers who do better breakdowns of these graphs. I don't really have much to say on them. Skim through the bannings as well. Console players, come on, stop banning Jackal, lads. You guys are better than that. He does not need to be number one most banned. Dokkaebi at number one is where it's at. That makes so much more sense. Monty at number 5. Kudos the Monty main. Hurt, Deimos, high ban rate. That's interesting. Monty on console as well. Ying. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Fenrir on console at a 77-ish% ban rate. Capcan, Kaid, Mira. Who we got after that? Fenrir at 80% on console. I'm sorry, on PC. I mean, that's understandable. Fenrir is Fenrir. Let's be honest. Fenrir is crazy. Right, let's read this real quick. As observed in the balancing matrix, there has been a significant increase in the presence of certain operators. However, despite the shift, their performance statistics do not raise any immediate concerns. Consequently, we have decided not to make any adjustments to the size distribution in this patch. Okay, so no ACOG changes this patch going forward. Interesting. It's essential to recognize that the graphs presented reflect only a small segment of the ranked player base. Below those ranks and across the broader player community, the presence of these operators is considerably lower. I'm stumbling on all over my words. Their presence was higher at the beginning of the season and gradually declined to the numbers you see right now. This downward trend suggests that these operator choices are driven more by the novelty than by the overwhelming strength. We observed similar patterns during the 1.5 era, and based on tests conducted over the past year, we prefer a cautious approach rather than immediate reaction because the system is still too new. That's understandable. We believe maintaining the current distribution throughout the entire season won't compromise the overall balance. I think balancing's alright right now anyway. Additionally, prematurely removing these operators could prompt players to swiftly switch to the next operator equipped with magnified scope. Yep, that's been happening for years. Such a shift might adversely impact the balance of other operators that have not received as much attention and are currently in a good position. Melusi, I assume. Hastily removing would not allow sufficient time to thoroughly evaluate all the pros and cons of the new sites, especially considering that nostalgia and novelty are still influencing decisions. Okay, that's actually a good little observation by Ubisoft. They seem to be grasping balancing a bit better. This is interesting. Let me zoom in a little bit for this. Azami's Kiba barriers have had a change. Increased by 10% the damage received by high caliber handguns and revolvers. So they've nerfed Kiba barriers more. Okay, that's good. So handguns and revolvers have had an increased damage. Increased 10% damage received by medium caliber SMGs and assault rifles. And 5% for assault rifles and LMGs. So across the board, Kiba barriers have less health now. The weapon-based damage, the damage drop-off curve, the distance to the barrier, and the barrier resistance are just a few of the variables we need to consider for the 100+ weapons available when balancing this system. We were already aware that the Kiba barriers might still require too many bullets to destroy by certain weapons. However, we wanted to be cautious not to render the barriers completely ineffective now that every operator will be able to deal with them. As a result, we opted for an initial release with barriers that remain robust. Our plan is to iterate, seeking the optimal balance while closely monitoring the impact of each adjustment. Despite the data is showing that the new feature is being utilized, the lifespan of barriers hasn't significantly changed. This suggests that attackers continue to face challenges when dealing with them. Explosive and melee attacks remain the primary method of destruction, making the risk associated with shooting at the barrier still high enough to favor the use of explosives. Upon analyzing the damage received by the barriers during destruction, we observed that designated marksman rifles perform exceptionally well against them. Consequently, our focus primarily being on increasing the damage received from assault rifles and LMGs. The additional weapons mentioned here are affected for the sake of consistency, as they share the same caliber. And that's true. Like, DMRs are just crazy at countering Izami. Like, absolutely insane. Right, let's move over to Iana. Loadout, secondary gadgets. Removed stun grenades, added impact EMP nades. Okay. Considering her ability to bait defenders and facilitate refrag opportunities for teammates following the hologram, she should be an excellent operator choice for support players. Additionally, her infinite intel gathering resources make her particularly advantageous in current situations where drones are limited. Therefore, we will enhance her support capabilities by incorporating impact EMP grenades and may look into the Gemini replicator in the future. Okay, so potential Iana rework? Interesting. Impact EMPs are actually going to be very good for her, especially when one of her major counters is mute. So a mute jammer can be countered by Iana. Very good buff for Iana, but also really good like balancing, removing the stun grenades. I think Iana moving more into a support role rather than an entry fragger makes a lot of sense. Right, Lesion. Hopefully a nerf. Initial damage from goo mines reduced to 3 HP from 5. Gadget refill timer increased to 25 seconds from 20. Okay, so a nerf on the goo mines, that's good. I still think it needs more. Secondary gadgets, added observation blocker, removed impact grenades. Right, removing impact grenades, really good. He never needed them, especially after he got the super shorty. That means you're like, oh, I'll just use the super shorty for holes and I can save the impacts for hurting people or impact tricking or, you know, destroying Osa shields, all that stuff. He had too much in his arsenal. Since the removal of cloaking from his goo mines, we observed positive changes in his performance. Yeah, he's bloody overpowered. Despite the uncloaked mines, the number of mines triggered per round has remained relatively stable, resulting in higher average damage than initially anticipated. To maintain the core essence of the goo mine, we have made slight reductions in its initial damage. Our intention is to emphasize the urgency of removing the mine and the fear associated with encountering another one. Rather than an immediate kill, we aim to create a strategic window of opportunity for players to engage with the enemy. Lesion's increased resources allow him to exert significant map control very quickly and block attackers' access to the building from very early in the round. Consequently, we've extended the time required to acquire the mines. While this may reduce early round map control, it ensures Legion's continued impact in late game scenarios. He remains a priority target for attackers. I still think he's going to be pretty overpowered. Regarding secondary gadgets, we believe the goo mine should be enough for slowing down ballistic shields, and the impact grenades give him too much flexibility. I agree. So we're going to change them for observation blockers, which also synergizes well with its primary ability, providing extra protection. I think that's good. I think that's a good change. Right, Nook. Changes on the Hell Presence. Let's see. So the duration has been increased from 30 seconds from 20 seconds, so that's a buff on how long you use your gadget, but the cooldown's also been increased. I don't think you should be increasing the cooldown. I think Nook is ass. They should have only buffed her. I don't know why they've also made the cooldown longer as well. The recent changes to frag grenades, along with increased operator access, have had a negative impact on Nook's presence. That right there is not why Nook isn't played. It's not because the frag changes, and it's not because other operator access. It's because you removed her silent step. You've completely missed the mark there, Ubisoft. To mitigate this issue while we investigate other solutions to make her more impactful, we will be increasing the durations of the Hell Presence reduction. This adjustment will allow Nook to traverse bigger areas more comfortably without being detected in defenders' cameras and catch them by surprise. I mean, like, yeah, okay, I get it, but you've completely missed it, Ubisoft. You've just completely missed the mark there. This right here, that is not why people aren't playing Nook. That is not the reason at all. It's not the frag grenades. Right, Rima Dash will destroy deployable and Talon shields. The dash is not interrupted. Okay, so you can Rima Dash through Defender deployable shield as well as Osa's shield. So Oryx is now a direct counter to Osa. Okay. We are updating the Rima Dash to improve comfort and consistency. From now on, deployable shields and Talon shields will no longer impede Oryx during the dash. Instead, they will be destroyed and he will go through. This adjustment aligns with players' expectations, especially considering Oryx's existing ability to pass through Kiba barriers and reinforce barricades. Okay, barricades, sorry. I read that as walls in my head. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We'll buff to Oryx. I still think Oryx needs a few more changes, but that's a step in the right direction. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that a lot. Sense has had an extra ROU added to their loadout. Despite the numerous improvements to the POF9 and additional utility that it brings, Sense continues to underperform. We acknowledge the intricacy and skill required to use the ROU, projectiles effectively, The unpredictability of bounces can sometimes work against you. We hope the new trajectory previs can help improve accuracy. I turned that off, I think it's annoying. But we are going to allocate additional resources to enhance flexibility and provide more opportunities for error correction while we keep investigating new ways to improve. Okay, so they are looking into fixing sense. But an extra ROU. So one more ROU. I still won't play them, but I get it. Impact EMPs, not impact EMPs. Impact grenades, so the defender gadget, the explosive ones, have been nerfed. So damage has been reduced to 40 from 60, and the radius has been reduced from 2 from 3. So it has a smaller blast radius, so it'll make smaller holes, and it does less damage. And here are the operators it affects. I'm not going to read them out. It's just the people with impact nades. I keep calling them EMPs. They're not EMPs. Impact grenades. We recognize the growing significance of impact grenades over the years. They play a crucial role in site setup, facilitate defenders' swift rotations, aid in clearing attackers' utility, deny walls, and even eliminate adversaries. However, we acknowledge their excessive versatility, which prompts us to address their killing potential and wall denial capabilities. We have implemented a reduction in damage. As a result, double impacting an enemy will no longer result in an immediate kill. That's good for me as a multiplayer. Also, opponents must be even more damaged to employ a grenade to secure the elimination. Yeah, okay, so just you have to hurt someone more. The reduction in explosion radius will yield two key factors. Impact tricking countermeasures. Attackers can prevent it by positioning the hard breach charge device as close to the ground as possible in additional locations. Oh yeah, it's going to be harder to impact trick now because of the radius change. And defenders must be more accurate to do so. Precision requirement for utility clearance. Defenders must exercise greater accuracy while dealing with attackers, utility such as air jabs and claymores. This adjustment allows attackers to place more reliance on this type of gadgets and experiment with unexpected placement. Our intention is to promote the use of the right tool in the right situation, rather than relying solely on something that can serve multiple purposes. Defenders have other tools at their disposal that can achieve these objectives more effectively. Our final goal is to enhance tactical gameplay and reward the correct decision making in every match. I think that's good. I think impact grenades have been strong for a long time, so I think they've needed a tweak. Ballistic shield guard break, explosion trigger threshold reduced to 30 damage. Guard break? What is that? I'm a shield player and I don't even know what guard break means. Our goal is to ensure that impact grenades remain effective counter against ballistic shields. Because of the recent damage change, we find it necessary to adjust the threshold for breaking a shield owner's guard. Does that mean the suppression effect? The guard break system relies on the damage received. Oh, they're talking about suppression. Have they changed the name to guard break? And it's important to note that no other explosives have undergone alterations. Consequently, the other explosive items should now create larger openings before. I think they're referring to suppression. Unless they've changed the name of the suppression effect without me noticing. So that means basically, see when you have a shield and you do damage to the physical shield itself, like the actual shield, not the operator, they get an effect called suppression, which means they can't full sprint, they struggle to melee, it just makes them less lethal, and they can't run. You have to keep topping that up by shooting their shield or causing damage in other ways, such as impact nades. So they've changed that for explosions to basically coincide with the impact name change. But I don't know why they're calling it guard break. They must have changed the name and I've not noticed. So, okay, that makes sense. But, yeah, interesting patch notes. They've completely missed the mark with Nook. They have absolutely no understanding then as to why she sucks now. Very surprised how they just haven't mentioned the fact that they removed Silent Step. But honestly, pretty good patch. I think it's quite good. I assume this will go to the test server first, so hopefully I'll be able to test these changes. But yeah, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Drop a like on this video. I'll catch you later. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.